And welcome again to Cottage Talk. I am Russ Goldman. This is another episode of our special series about the transfer market. I'm calling this Transfer Thursday. Unfortunately, I could not do this show on Tuesday. I have other things going on. So now we're back to either a Transfer Thursday or a Transfer Tuesday. This is a Transfer Thursday. So I'm going to share my thoughts on the latest speculation. Now, obviously, there's going to be more speculation that I'm not going to cover, but I'm going to give you some transfer speculation along with a poll that I did. I've been doing this each and every week, talking about a former Fulham Academy player that's gone on somewhere else and who's won the deal. This week, guess who it is? It's Fabio Carvalho. So I'm asking the question, who won the transfer of Fabio Carvalho from Fulham to Liverpool last summer? This transfer actually began about a year ago. The whole process started about a year ago with Liverpool's interest. It did not get over the line, but we kind of knew it was going to go through. So we're now going to look at it with what's been going on with Fabio and who won the deal. The choices are Liverpool, Fulham, Fabio, or is there no winner right now? So those are the choices. If you're watching live, feel free to share your thoughts on who won the deal. As of this moment, I think we probably need more time. So maybe that's why we're getting a lot of votes for no winner. No winner right now, but we'll see how it all plays out with Fabio. I do wish him the best. And I'll get to that at the end of this quick 15-minute transfer show. As always, please do subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. It does help other Fulham supporters find us. Giving you a lot of content lately. I hope you did check out the Jack and Laws episode we did, the Mike Gregg episode, all of the episodes we're doing. I'm going to keep it coming to you. And this is just another episode. This is a transfer episode of Cottage Talk. So let's get going because, like I said, we do have a good amount of speculation going on with Fulham. Shockingly, not shockingly, a lot of it deals with a right back and potentially a right back leaving, which is a little bit of a surprise when I tell you one of the clubs that is rumored on the Kevin Mbabu front. That's fascinating. But before we do that, I just saw this today. So let's start with potential right backs coming in. There are several names. There are several names that are, believe it or not, in the championship. I think Fulham are basically have a lot of feelers out there. I have a feeling who their number one is, but they are definitely interested in a right back, and you're going to see that. So here's the latest I saw this morning from Get French Football News. This is the headline quote: Fulham make offer for Rennes. Hamari Traore, Lyon are also interested. Now he's 30 years old. This kind of goes a little bit with Cedric's Arsenal speculation, talking about age-wise, but it's clearly obvious Fulham are looking at a right back to replace Kevin Mbabu because for whatever reason, Kevin Mbabu has not worked out with Fulham. So they have started from the get-go to try to find a right back to compete with Kenny Tete. I think Kenny Tete is your number one right back, but I think it's always good to have competition. And of course, as we know, as Fulham supporters know, Kenny Tete is injury prone. So this makes perfect sense that they have a lot of different names out there, a lot of different players that they're looking at. This is just one. I'm sure they made an offer. I'm sure they made offers to several clubs looking for a right back. But I still think their number one priority, and I could be wrong on this, is Cedric Soares or Suarez, whichever way you say it. And that's going to lead me to talk about a tweet that I believe came a few days ago from Lyle Thomas from Sky Sports. Here's the tweet that he sent out. Quote, Fulham FC are in talks with Cedric Soares over personal terms. Arsenal gave the player permission to speak to them, unquote. So that's from a tweet from Lyle. Lyle has good sources, so I'm not doubting this. So in my mind, this is my opinion. Cedric is their number one target. I think it has to be. That's just me. I could be wrong, but I think they're doing the right thing here by putting out all these options all over Europe to try to find a right back, including the championship too. They need a right back. They absolutely need a right back. So this makes sense. I think it's ultimately will be Cedric Soares. But if he can't come to personal terms, if they can't come to an agreement, they have to look for another. And I think that's what is going on. I think some of these offers are just at this point offers until potentially a Soares deal comes through. We'll see. We'll see. That's just my thoughts. Again, my opinion. No fact here. My opinion is Cedric is the number one priority, but just based on the speculation, we'll see how it all plays out. And then also there is a history with Marco Silva and Soares, so it does make sense. We'll see if that ends up happening. If not, it sounds like they're gonna get a right back regardless. They're gonna get one. They're keeping that net wide in case the situation does not come through potentially. This is my thoughts with Cedric Soares. That's been the most that we've been hearing is on this player, but that doesn't mean that he's their first choice. It's just my opinion based on what I've been reading. We'll see what happens. Okay. So that's some interesting speculation on the right back position. Something else that I wanted to share comes from Give Me Sport because it's on a Fulham player, and I'm curious what fans think about this. So this comes from Give Me Sport and speaking to Dean Jones about Tosin Adarabioyo. So this is about Tosin. And here's the quote. Quote, Fulham unlikely to sell 16 million pound star at Craven Cottage. And it is Tosin. So apparently, according to Dean, they've put up a 16 million pound number that they're looking for Tosin, which I think is reasonable. I don't see this happening. It's interesting. Do you want it to happen? Do you want Tosin to stay? I want Tosin to stay. I think right now the best options Fulham have at this moment are Tim Ream and Diop, but Tosin is in the mix. I think they still need Tosin for the rest of the season. So I wouldn't be for this. I wouldn't be for this. The money would have to be maybe even more than this for me to consider it. It's a good amount of money, don't get me wrong. But I think Tosin is still extremely valuable to Fulham Football Club. I think they need him more than the money at this moment. So I'm a no right now on Tosin leaving Fulham Football Club, unless you're telling me you're getting an upgrade. If you're getting an upgrade, then let's talk. Upgrade, different story. If it's just someone to replace Tosin, I'm not sure I would do it at this moment. I want someone that would be an upgrade. If you're doing that, then I can see Tosin leaving. If it's just a like for a like, no, I'm not doing it. I would stick with a player who's been with Fulham already and let him be in that rotation with the two other center backs that they currently have. And to be honest with you, I at some point wanted Tosin and, of course, Diop to be your center back pairing. But Tim Ream has gotten in the way of that. He's played fantastically, and I think he should be one of those two at this point. I've changed my mind on that. He's proven me wrong several times. I am worried about his lack of pace, but his reading the game is phenomenal. I think they need him to be starting each and every match. I can't believe I'm saying that. But Tim Ream has done such a wonderful job. He deserves that spot. Question is that second spot. I'm giving it to Diop. I think Diop is better. I know he's not great in the air. I know that's been a constant concern, and I think it is a concern. But I think he's a better option than Tosin. That's just me. If you're asking me between the two, I start Diop each and every week. That's what I would do. Okay. So that's some interesting speculation that we have going on with Fulham Football Club. But coming up next to end this quick transfer speculation show, I'm going to share the poll results and talk a little bit about the situation with Fabio Carvalho. Okay, to end this quick show, this transfer show, I'm now going to share the poll that I did this morning. I know it's not a lot of time, but the poll was, who won the transfer of Fabio Carvalho from Fulham to Liverpool last summer? And the options were Fulham, Liverpool, Fabio Carvalho, or no winner. So right now, I have 209 votes. And at this moment, no winner is at 47.4%. Second is Fulham at 29.7%. Liverpool is third at 12.9%. And Fabio is last at 10%. I've opened it up for a full day, but 209 votes is not bad. But the fact that right now the poll has it being no winner is very interesting. And actually, I do understand it. That's why I wanted to include it in the poll, because I think right now no one's won this. I don't think Liverpool has won. Fulham certainly did not get enough money from this deal. I think they're the biggest loser out of all this. But the situation was at hand. He was going to walk for nothing, or you were going to go through the Tribune and all that situation. So for me, I think they got what they could get from Liverpool. Liverpool took advantage of the situation, but he is worth a hell of a lot more money than Fulham got. I think Fulham are the biggest loser in all this. But I will also say right now, I think Fabio right now is a loser in this as it stands right now. He's not playing regularly for Liverpool. He did play in their FA Cup match. But for me, he needs to be playing on a regular basis. This was my biggest concern of Fabio going to Liverpool this season, this up season to start. He went to Liverpool, and I'm thinking there's no way he's going to be starting on a regular basis, and he hasn't. In fact, he hasn't featured at all in several matches. And this to me is just not good. It's just not good. He's going to develop as a player, but I think he has a rare talent, along with Harvey Elliott, that if they stayed at Fulham for a year or two more, it would have given them a chance to develop that talent. When you go to Liverpool, I've heard the argument, well, it's great because he's playing against all these great players. He's practicing, training with all these great players, and he has Klopp. That's great. But I think he was in the perfect situation that he was in with Fulham to develop his game under Marco Silva. And I think this is a step back. It wouldn't shock me if one of two things happens. If Fabio goes out on loan, which I think would be a mistake if he goes out on loan, because I don't think he's going to develop enough. And I think that would just be a step backwards for him to go out on loan. Or he ends up someplace else. Ultimately, he ends up at another club. That could happen. But I think the situation with him right now is just not good enough for a player that I think could be an elite player in the world. I think he's on that path. I understand what's going on with Liverpool. My concern was that they would just continue to bring in players and players, and he would get buried. I don't think he's developing as a player. They don't play with a number 10. He is a number 10. Now, in the Fulham system, he could also play out wide as well. So I've heard the argument, don't bring him back because you have Pereira. I think you could actually use both of them together. And maybe that would constitute one of your wingers not playing. But I think you could bring Fabio back to Fulham on loan. I think you could. Would it be the right move? I'm not against it, but I understand the argument that you don't want to basically upset the apple cart by bringing him back, and you have someone doing the role he currently is. But Fabio, I think, is being wasted at Liverpool. That's my opinion. I think he's being completely wasted. Playing in FA cup matches, it's just a waste of his talent. He's not getting better as a player. That's just my thoughts on that. And I know others will have issues with my commentary. Okay, so this is from my friend Steve Reynolds. He says, no winner. Matt W., this is about Cedric. Cedric would be a very good signing. Okay, very good. Bob Johnson says, interesting that Man U are supposedly interested in Kevin and Babu. Steve Reynolds says, should we get Maja for $4 million? No, Steve, I wouldn't do that. Colm Bugler adds, Milan Van Uwijk, Heravine right back is another. Yes, I forgot to mention that, Colm. Absolutely forgot to mention that. And here's a Goldman for you. I forgot to mention potential transfer news, and it involves Fulham's right back. So to end the show, I'm now going to mention that. There's a fantastic Goldman for everyone, because there is speculation that Manchester United, according to Metro, are interested in Kevin and Babu. This is a shocker to me. Monza as well. Do they know something we don't know? But I found it fascinating that Manchester United would be interested in Kevin and Babu. Please take him. Take him. Please take him off our hands. He's not going to be our player. We obviously have made that decision. Fulham made that decision. Not saying I take that back. He's not going to be our player. I'm just saying that I don't think we want him to be our player because he's just not playing. Doesn't sound like he is being trusted from Marco Silva. And they'll basically have a wide net looking for a right back. So for me, I want Kevin and Babu to find a new home. If it's Manchester United, so be it. If it's Monza, so be it. But it's obvious that these two transfer speculations of right backs for Fulham and Babu going someplace else are linked. I do expect by the end of the window for Kevin and Babu to be someplace else, only if Fulham bring in a right back, and it sounds like they are trying extremely hard, very hard, to get a right back in. Very interesting. And of course, there's Russ screwing that up. Okay. And of course, I've got Steve Reynolds. Please tell me you are not wearing a retro Chelsea shirt. No, I'm not. I'm not wearing a retro Chelsea shirt. Stop that, Steve. Stop that. Okay. Well, that's going to do it for this quick episode of Cottage Talk. As always, please do subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. It does help other Fulham supporters find us. And I do appreciate you watching and listening all of our episodes. I'm going to keep them coming to you. But that's going to do it for this episode of Cottage Talk. My name is Russ Goldman. Thank you as always for watching and listening to Cottage Talk, now part of the Talk Sport Fan Network.